Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. Before I get started on today's episode, just want to thank everybody for supporting the channel. I'm on my path to 2,000 subscribers, getting really close. So if you guys do enjoy the content or if you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. So for today's episode, I want to talk about the Miami Heat's upcoming season and a decision that Eric Spoelstra and the Miami Heat's front office needs to make. I think they're facing a tough decision when it comes to who should be the number one option offensively for the Miami Heat. So who should they build the offense around next season? Should it be around Jimmy Butler or should it be built around Bam Adebayo? Is Bam ready to take that leap, to take that next step and be that main guy? I made a video, I think a few weeks ago about, I think it was Ramona Shelburne said that she thinks that the Miami Heat should hand the keys to Bam Adebayo. So I just want to talk to you guys today and dive in the pros and cons for each option. And there was an NBA scout who had his opinion on the matter in terms of handing the keys over to Bam Adebayo. So let's start off with Jimmy Butler, though, first. So Jimmy Butler is obviously the face of the Miami Heat since he was traded here back in 2019. He has led the team to multiple finals appearances, 3 Eastern Conference finals. He has completely changed the trajectory of this Miami Heat's franchise. And he's had the second best run, essentially, or second best build with the Miami Heat. And none of us really saw this coming when we first traded for him. I thought the Miami Heat would be good, but I never thought he would be able to carry us to the championship games with all of these undrafted players in late draft picks. So Jimmy has done more with less compared to any other superstar. And I thank him for it. But what sucks is that we have not been able to win a championship. And this next season might be our last opportunity. And I pray that we do win a championship for Jimmy Butler. So Jimmy Butler is entering the final year of his NBA contract. He is going to have a player option in 2025, but I don't know if he's going to pick it up. Like, the only way I see Jimmy re-signing with the Miami Heat and not becoming a free agent is if, one, we give him an extension, or if we win a championship. Of course, that's what's going to lead ultimately to an extension. So if Jimmy Butler gets hurt, plays 50, 60 games like he has been every year with the Miami Heat become a play-in team or miss the playoffs, or get knocked out in the first or second round, I find it hard to believe that we're going to bring Jimmy Butler back and want to extend him. And if we don't extend him, I could see Jimmy Butler then just not picking up his option, becoming a free agent after next season, testing those waters. So we'll see what happens. But he's going to be in a contract year. He's still a reliable option. He is still a clutch performer. He just needs to be healthy. He needs to try in the regular season. We know what he can do in the playoffs. Playoff Jimmy is a thing. So his contract is winding down. Can the Heat afford to continue to lean on him and rely on him? Because when he is playing and he's not load managing in those games, we run our offense through Jimmy. Jimmy still averaged 21 points per game, or 20.8. Him and Tyler were both our leading scorers last season, but both missed a lot of games, especially Tyler Hero. So on the other hand, let's talk about Bam Adebayo. He has been an anchor for this Miami Heat team. Defensively, he is one of the best two-way players in the league. Offensive skill set has been improving year in, year out. He is expanding his game. He is developing. He was a back to the basket, like hustle athletic player his first few years when he was playing behind Whiteside. He has developed a handle, playmaking ability, mid-range jump shot, hook shot, face-up game. He can now spread the floor. He's shooting more threes. So that's like the next elevation that we're all excited for next season. We saw him do that more at the second half of the season after the All-Star break, shooting a couple of games. Saw him continue in the Olympics this summer as he won a gold medal with Team USA. Shooting threes, focusing more on the corners, not just the above the break three. So if he can expand that, sky's the limit for him. So anyway, the question is, can Bam step up as the number one option for this team overall and offensively? There was an NBA scout read an article, weighed in on this as an option, and he suggested that Bam might be more comfortable playing as that Swiss Army role for the Miami Heat, which he's been doing. Because again, no one plays defense like Bam. No one guards 1 through 5 like Bam. Bam, when there's no real point guard out there, he's a playmaker. He's a facilitator. Averaged 3.9 assists per game. 5.4 was a career high for him before we had Kyle Lowry and other point guards on this team. So he is someone that operates all over the floor for us, and is not just someone that we can rely on scoring, because again, he has to be the anchor on defense. He has to be one of our best rebounders as well. He does a lot. And so Bam has the potential to be that all-around threat that he is, but also to develop that all-around threat. And I think he can be our number one scorer, but I don't think that's best for the Miami Heat or what he necessarily wants. Um, he obviously can shoot more. I mean, Tyler Hero is going to be injured, so Tyler Hero, I believe, took the most shots, and Terry Rozier, and then Jimmy. But Bam shot 14.3 shots per game last season, which is fine. That's a good amount. But if he wants to shoot 20 shots per game, and if the Heat want to run their offense through him, he could do that. But that does take away from his ability and his energy on the defensive end potentially. And that potentially takes away his ability to find his teammates if he's looking to score more, perhaps, and shoot more. Then we're not going to have that ability for him to play make. And he's a really good playmaker for his teammates, especially with the DHO with Duncan Robinson. So I think he can do it. I don't know if he wants to do it personally because he's never shot more than 14.9 shots in a season. And we also have a bunch of other guys around him that want to shoot. We have Tyler Hero that wants to score. We have Terry Rozier who wants to score. We have Jimmy. And then we also have players like Jaime Jaquez Jr. coming off the bench who averaged 12 points as a rookie off the bench last season. He's going to elevate and improve his game. He wants to shoot more threes. He wants to become a 3-level scorer. So we don't need Bam necessarily to be the guy we run our offense through, or technically our number one option. I think we need Jimmy with this one final last hoorah, one last run. We need Jimmy to run our offense. We need Jimmy to be our best player offensively. We need Jimmy to carry this team. We need him to care. And he's going to be hopefully balling next season on a contract year. He's 35 in September. This is his final chance to get a 3-year lucrative contract, whether it's with the Miami Heat or not. But he is going to have to run this offense. He's going to need to average 20 to 22 points per game, but he needs to do that, and he needs to play in 70 plus games for us next season if the Miami Heat want to avoid the play-in. So I don't personally think next year is the year we should hand the keys to Bam Adebayo. Next year should be Jimmy Butler's final chance to prove to the NBA and the Miami Heat that he is still an elite player. Look at Kevin Durant. Look at LeBron. Obviously, he's a freak, but Steph, there's other players that are, 35, 36, and LeBron's almost going to be 40 next season. And I know they're all more elite offensively than Jimmy Butler, but still, Jimmy needs to emulate those guys in terms of longevity if he wants to get an extension. Jimmy's never going to be that elite scorer, never averaged 25 points per game or more, but he's still an elite star and a superstar in the playoffs. So I think we run the offense through Jimmy. It's still Jimmy's team until next year, and we'll see what happens. After next season, that's when we hand Bam the keys, whether or not Jimmy's on this team or not, because Jimmy will be 36 going into the 2025 season. Bam will be 28, 27, 28. So I think that's when you do it. I don't think it's this season. I don't think Bam is ready to carry that load because he carries too much of a load as is. The other thing I want to touch upon in the article was saying that this scout thought that Bam has similarities to the Houston Rockets up-and-coming star Alperen Sengun. But he said he obviously has much stronger, better defensive presence, which is true. If Bam can become a better playmaker, I think Sengun's a better passer and also a better shooter. which we see Bam is improving, like I mentioned earlier, with his three and his mid range, he might be better if he plays that Sangoon role, which is again an all-around player, especially offensively, than being our number one go-to option on offense. So, what do you think, Heat Nation? Do you think the Miami Heat should focus on Jimmy, the proven leader of this build? This is obviously his team. Do you think we should focus on running the offense through Jimmy, depending on Jimmy, or should they start building around Bam as the go-to option, building the offense around him? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more Miami Heat content. Thanks for watching.